Yo, what's going down, everybody? This is Nick.
And Phil.
And we are Millennium Decks. We're bringing you the next character deck profile, the last main character for Battle City. We just finished up Seto Kaiba, which means there's one main character left. And as you can tell by the mat, it is Joey Wheeler. So, we're going to break down the monsters, spells, and traps. Again, for those of you new to the channel, this is basically only the anime-based cards that they used in the anime during the Battle City era only, but we've added a few little tweaks to his deck, and we'll get to that in a moment. And guys, just stay tuned. So we are back. Let's kick things off. The other two decks had an Egyptian God card. Joey did not, but he had Guilford, the Lightning. Now, Joey did not have an Egyptian God card, so Guilford the Lightning is like a substitute for that. He had to have a boss monster himself. Guilford the Lightning, the effect, tribute 3 monsters, destroys all monsters on the field. Or you could just kind of just drop it for 2 sacrifices if you want that 2,800 beater on the field. But Joey in the anime used this against Merrick, and it was awesome to see this thing come alive.
Yeah, Joey doesn't have an Egyptian God card, but this is pretty much his, this is like his big ace, and it's kind of, I guess you could say, a substitute for the Egyptian God cards. I mean, again, it's very powerful, it just blows up the field.
Absolutely. And something that's definitely not an Egyptian God card. Battle Warrior.
Yeah, clearly it's not an Egyptian God in terms of power.
You know what? I love it how it's a shit monster, but they released it anyway. 700 attack, 1,000 defense. It gives character to the deck, and that's what you want to see. Battle Warrior was always with Joey. It's just pretty awesome that they actually released this card. He stinks, but you never know what could happen. Speaking of another monster, Swordsman, a Landstar. Now, the only reason why this is in Joey's deck from the anime is because Graceful and Skull Dice, which he used, this was pretty much his Graceful and Skull Dice target because it baited people into attacking when you see a 500 worthless monster. Well, that's pretty much what it is in this deck. Anything else you want to say about it?
I don't know, I don't like this card because when I draw into that, I never have Graceful or Skull Dice on it.
Yeah, so unfortunately, this is pretty much, you better put it in defense mode. This guy, to me, was one of the coolest monsters he had.
This is a classic right here.
Rocket Warrior. Anything you want to say about Rocket Warrior?
No, I was really glad when they released it in the tints. I think it was 2004, 2005. I can't remember the exact year, but, I was really stoked. They released Rocket Warrior along with, I know Panther Warrior was also in the tin. Mm-hmm. I think Xarian Universe was in the tin. And for any GOAT format fans out there, that's really old school.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Thing with Rocket Warrior, just an awesome card, draining the attack points when he goes into invincible mode and reduces it by 500. Rocket Warrior, really, really classic guy. One of the coolest monsters, and again with Joey's deck, they might not be the best cards, but the artwork on all of them is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and again, like a lot of Joey Wheeler strategies, as you'll see later on the profile, a lot of things are luck-based, but Rocket Warrior, just one by one, just like slowly dwindle your opponents down.
Up to the next monster.
Alright, this is a badass right here.
Garuzis. He's badass. Unfortunately, the one tribute, But Garuzis was also put into his Battle City deck. This is a monster that debuted in Duelist Kingdom. Garuzis, you never know when you can use them, especially in character decks. Who knows when he could be useful? But again, brings out character. The artwork, really, really classic looking card right here. Next up, Hayabusa Knight, or in the Japanese anime, it was called Falcon Knight. He gets to attack twice. He's a potential game ender, you never know. I mean, 1,000 attack, not very good. He can attack twice.
He could do a lot of damage to opponent's board if you power it up through like a quick spell switch.
Absolutely, which he does have a decent. He has a decent.
And again, like we said before, you got your Graceful Dice.
Geoffrey, the Iron Knight, a Battle City exclusive right here is where he debuted. This is the guy that you want to draw into early in the game with this character deck. 1800 attack, no tributes unlike Garuzis. You can't equip anything to him, but and the other thing is too, as far as if you watched our videos before, we errata stuff. Yeah, it is gear free. The Iron Knight, that doesn't mean that the insect virus or whatever it was against Weevil won't affect him. That'll still be played. We errata stuff to the anime, but some stupid shit like that won't be.
No, gear free was always cool. Alright, so we have Meta Knight right here.
Nah, that's my little Wingard or Tiny Guardian. But yeah, little Wingard and Tiny Guardian. We've decided it was a normal monster in the anime, but we'll keep the effect only because compared to other character decks, Joey needs all the help he can get. And we'll explain that more along into the deck profile. But 1400 attack, and he gets to switch to the defense mode or change battle position, vice versa. Not too shabby. The ultimate gamble, Time Wizard. Obviously, this is a classic Duelist Kingdom card. Everybody loves Time Wizard, and it makes character deck duels so suspenseful and thrilling. Also is used for one of his fusions. Classic right here.
Oh.
Next up, Baby Dragon, but we've duplicated Baby Dragon to 2, and the reason being, again, you'll see that Joey needs all the help he can get, but in Battle City, especially, focused on a lot of fusions. Almost in every battle that he came across, there was almost like there was a fusion, and the Baby Dragon is used. One of them, fusion for Thousand Dragon with Time Wizard, and the other for Alligator Sword Dragon. So that's why there are 2 Baby Dragons within this deck. Speaking of duplicates, we decided to put 2 Alligator Sword in here. Now, one of them is for the fusion, but then you're thinking to yourself, why would there be another Alligator Sword in here? Well, it all has to do with one of the monsters that we've added in, and that's going to come later into the monster profile, but Joey needs some type of help, and if you look at the Battle City duels, Alligator Sword along with Gearfried was one of the most common monsters that he had summoned in this series. We figured we need to help him out just a tad bit, and now a lot of the competitive guys that are watching this video are probably like, well, adding more cards would just make it worse, but you'll see exactly why later on why there are 2 of these guys in here. Next up, Panther Warrior. Now, I really like this card. I call it an attacking wall because you kind of need to sacrifice a monster for him to attack. This is a good thing you want if you draw right into it. Or if you have Scapegoat, but 2000 attack, it's really hard to get over.
Yeah, I was about to say, usually it works with Scapegoat. Even if you can't attack with Panther Warrior, just normal summoning it, just as like kind of...
Yeah, and you never know what character does. It could buy you a lot of time. Next, we're going to throw out these 3 guys here. The Legendary Fisherman, Jinzo, and the Insect Queen. Again, this is the Battle City exclusive deck. Legendary Fisherman, 1 from Mako, Jinzo from Esperova, and Insect Queen from Weevil Underwood. This is when Joey realized his potential. These 3 cards, and it was awesome that he summoned all 3 of them against Odeon. It just showed that he was maturing as a duelist, and he was getting a lot better, and he earned the respect from Yugi. Not really Kaiba, but a lot of people started to respect. They started to respect the underdog in Joey, and it is a lot luck based, and that's almost how he won all of these. But you know what? Other than Jinzo, the other 2 are kind of You never know because Insect Queen takes 2 sacrifices. Fisherman, you don't have Umi in the deck, so it's kind of whatever. But these were in his deck. But the main guy in the middle, as you see right there, Jinzo, is just a boss.
Yeah, Jinzo alone can totally win you games. I mean, just negating all trap cards.
And especially, we played for like the anime, so drawing him right off the bat, just an awesome card. Almost done with the monsters really quickly. X-Raider, one of my all-time favorite Joey monsters. 4 stars, 1700 attack. Again, if you draw into this guy, this was a guy that was seen a lot in Duelist Kingdom, not so much in Battle City, but it is still part of his deck. You gotta love X-Rated.
I think it was like in a tournament pack from like way back when. Like if you couldn't afford a Mechanical Chaser, I'm pretty sure it was X-Rated. I couldn't get my cards mixed up. Like X-Rated was like the alternative.
So, this right here is the reason why we included 2 alligator sword and we tweaked the deck a little bit. Guilty of the Knight and the Flame Swordsman. Now, a lot of people are going to wonder, why are fusion monsters in the normal deck zone? Again, for playing like the anime and it brings character. Guiltia was a normal monster in the anime that he had in both Battle City and Duelist Kingdom. Same could be said for the Flame Swordsman. Now, it's Joey Wheeler. Flame Swordsman is his favorite card. We're not going to include the fusions that he didn't use for both of them. I don't even think he had any Guilty of the Night fusions. And Flame Swordsman, all he had was Masaki, but he never threw that into Battle City. So we've decided to errata these cards into the normal monsters, and that is why there are 2 alligator swords into the deck and more sacrifice tribute materials. I know it seems ridiculous, but again, this is for anime purposes only and to build character into the deck. Anything you want to touch up on this?
Not really. It's just, obviously then you probably have too many fusion options. And again, we're just basing it off of the anime, so I mean, just give him more options.
Yeah, and again, it's just really cool to see these guys, be summoned as like normal monsters, and trust me, it makes the decks and the duels a lot more fun. That wraps up the monsters. Let's set up to the spells. 2 polymerizations. Again, Joey was dropping a lot of fusions. We included 2 polys to help him out with the baby dragon fusions, and it works. And you never know what else you could use. If you get a Yugi match going and Black School Dragon, maybe. I don't want to ruin anything, but everybody knows why that's there. Nothing needed here.
Yeah, game ender. Or maybe it won't end the game, but it'll certainly change the tide.
And same here.
Again, that card is ridiculous. Seriously, a free +1 is a lot better than you guys think.
This is one card that's very underrated in Joey's deck. Foolish Burial. Now, you take a monster from the deck, send it to the graveyard. If you draw with this and Monster Reborn, we've done a lot of test duels. I like doing this a lot. Or even question even. And if that's the case, then I always don't tell the opponent what it is. It makes it more suspenseful. Just like in the duel against Merrick, when Heppoemer's effect got activated, discarded Alligator's sword. No, excuse me, Jinzo. It's the same thing. If we use Foolish Burial, we're not going to show the monster. We're going to make it a little bit of surprise, and it brings that like luck factor into Joey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Foolish Burial has just always been a staple, like in just on the majority of decks.
So now we're going to go to 2 equipped spells right here: Legendary Sword and Lightning Blade. Lightning Blade was used against Mako. Legendary Sword is just another card that's used for equips that he also used. These can actually, in character decks, make a huge difference.
Yeah, especially Lightning Blade.
And yeah, especially when you drop down, say you sacrifice for the Flame Swordsman and equipped it with Lightning Blade. It's going to be a long time till you can get over that, unless you have a trap plan or something.
Mm-hmm. Or if you get rid of it with a Mystical Space Typhoon, or, any back row removal. But Lightning Blade really gives Joey the strength he really needs.
Yep. Shield and Sword, a classic card used in Duelist Kingdom, brought back into Battle City. Very situational, but it could help out, especially against decks like Kaiba, where he's got a lot of attacking monsters that don't have great defense points. But if you, say you go against a Horse Raider, you could drop this for like a little Wing Guard or something like that, and you can take him down. You never know. Giant Trunade. Very, 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 very helpful, especially if you're trying to get out to the opponent's life points.
Yep.
This is one of the cards that was very key into winning against Mako Tsunami. Just a really, really good card for Joey. Pretty cool to see this actually get released right here. Roulette Spider. Now, yeah, it's not like something attaches to a monster in the middle and then it spins around. It's a risk card. Again, that's what Joey is. I think it was interesting how they try to get creative with it, because they're like, well, how do we spin around and point to a monster or something like that? But you roll the die, and 1 through 6 situations do happen, and this is just awesome to see played with character decks as well.
Again, it's like Time Wizard. It's just, very suspenseful. It can either, make or break the duel for the deck.
Question, like I alluded to earlier.
It's just such a trolly card. Oh my gosh, I hate it.
It is funny. You get this out here, and then you never know when it could be helpful. If you start out with Foolish Burial and you put something into the grave, and then you save this at the right opportune time, it could be extremely fun to use and play around with. I really like this card. Next up, 2 Scapegoat. Again, we didn't want to include 1 because there are a lot of times where you'll see in a lot of character deck duels, Joey sometimes can have a lot of brick hands or dead hands. Scapegoat could save him, and we included another one because Scapegoat was one of those things that he dropped non-stop in Battle City, and this does help a lot with Panther Warrior as well, but it's also just to bring out more character and bring out more time to Joey duels. Same could be said for why we have 2 copies of Graceful Dice. We like to play like the anime, and getting the combo of Graceful and Skull Dice, if we just put one of each in there, it's going to be hard to do. But it also increases the attack strength of weak monsters such as a Swordsman of Landstar, Battle Warrior, but you know, that's Joey for you, and it's just really cool to have these 2 things now. We have decided not to errata it to the anime where I think it multiplied the weak monsters. I think that would get a little too crazy, especially if you did Swordsman of Landstar and you did 500 times 6. Well, then at that point, Swordsman of Landstar becomes, yeah, a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So like that's, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna add. So that does it for the spells. Onto the traps. You can't have Graceful Dice without Skull Dice in Joey's deck, and that's why we've included 2. Same could be said to the description for Graceful Dice. A classic right here. Kunai with Chain. Very nice to see this card. Very, very, very helpful in any situation. It becomes an equipped card as well. And it can change the battle position. Really, really nice card. Nutrient Z. Taking a page out of, I think Yugi had this in Virtual World, but he uses this. It helps him delay the duel longer with Seto Kaiba by increasing his life points when they do the battle for the bronze and whatnot. Very good even with Joey's deck because he's going to run into a lot of trouble. Yeah, my Magical Shield. This was a card that was also interesting, also in the deck. And also it could be used, again, Joey likes to gamble, but he likes to buy time to gamble. He's a true gambler. Speak of gamble. This card, is one of the riskiest cards here because this card you only want to use right away if the opponent has a lot more cards than you. But if you gamble, you have to skip your draw phase. So it's a risk. This is a classic trap coming up right here.
Oh, yeah.
Grave Robber. Now, the real card for Grave Robber, you have to pay 2,000 life points. We've errated it. No cost for this card, which is a lot better. That's how they used it into the anime. We've errated it. It's just a really good card. You never know what you can run into. So that's why we've errated Grave Robber.
Again, it could be a game changer. It's one of my favorite trap cards, like from back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
I always loved it when he used it against.
Now, if there is one trap card that could really, really turn the tide for Joey, it's Fairy Box. This card right here, especially used in Joey's deck, it's so risky for the other opponent. Now, paying 500 each standby phase, yeah, it kind of sucks, but say a Blue Eyes White Dragon is out there against a Swordsman of Landstar, like we talked about. I hate picking on him, but you know what? The battle damage could become to 0 or something like that, and Swordsman of Landstar might have the advantage over a Blue Eyes if you call heads or tails, right? Whatever. It's just an awesome card.
Yeah, it can get pretty frustrating to get around for the.
Absolutely. Next up, drop off. You know, drop the card that they just drew. This could be really good or really bad. You know, say you go against a Kaiba. The bad part would be if he has Monster Reborn in his hand, you use drop off and Blue Eyes go to the grave. Not really good in character decks. But if you use drop off and you get the Monster Reborn that goes into the grave, well then you're lucked out. And I was very surprised that this card actually got released. It was only used really once in Duelist Kingdom. It was known as Chasm of Spikes, but obviously they reprinted it as Trap Hole of Spikes. I really like this card a lot. I just was very shocked that it got released because he only used it in one episode against Bandit Keith in Duelist Kingdom. And then it got destroyed by Shinzo, I believe, when he was fighting Esperova. But a really, really good card. You know, you destroy a monster when it attacks, and then you reduce, I believe it is half, right? So it's like a trap hole with half of the deduction if they attack. Really, really nice, and it can bait into some attack.
Yeah, it's another trap card that I'm a pretty big fan of in Joey's deck. I definitely like it better than Fairy Box. I think it just gets too trolly. So.
Absolutely. All right, so now we are off to the extra deck, or the fusion deck back in the day. The Thousand Dragon. Now with Thousand Dragon, we're keeping it. It's not going to be errata, and what I mean by that is with Time Wizard wins the roulette, it ages into 1,000 Dragon with Baby Dragon on the field. No, we're using polymerization for that. But, you know, getting out 2,400 attack, really, really cool. It's just a classic card.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000 Dragon holds a special place in my heart because it was actually the first secret rare I ever pulled through a booster set. Like, I remember, like, we just, you know, we were, like, in the airport. I was, like, really, really young, like, maybe 7 or 8 years old, and, like, Metal Raiders came out. And, like, I just picked up a random pack, and then I got 1,000 Dragon, I was like, oh my god, like, no way. So,
yeah.
So to me, 1,000 Dragon just holds a very
memories.
special place
Absolutely.
in my heart. And, like, the first secret rare I ever owned, like, that was just...
And his other fusion is Alligator Sword Dragon. This is a very random card. Very random. Also, yay, an extra bonus here. Because we've included 2 of the Alligator Swords, he could create another one.
It's a just in case.
Just in case type of thing. We don't ever expect 2 to get summoned in one duel because it's even hard to summon one of them. Yeah. But that's why we have 2 of them in here. And before we go, you can't have a Joey deck without the Scapegoat tokens. And obviously this is used for none other than Scapegoat. So we're also going to include that within the duels. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Joey's Battle City deck.
Yeah, just one final note in case if anyone's wondering, what about Red Eyes? That's like his key card. Well, unfortunately, he lost to Seeker at the beginning of the Battle City tournament. Now, I don't like Seeker because that's like a super illegal deck and it's kind of bullshit. But you know, because that he lost, we're not having Red Eyes in the deck. Like, if you go back to the deck profile on Yugi's Battle City deck, Yugi actually has it because he won Seeker, and then Joey said, nah, Yugi.
Yeah.
And then, that really classic duel between Yugi and then Joey being possessed by Merrick, it was just an iconic.
Right.
That was actually one of my favorite duels. It's a duel I kind of forget about, but, that's another duel that brings back memories. But if, because of that, we're not, because Joey lost to Seeker, we don't have Red Eyes in the deck. But if you're a huge Red Eyes fan, like myself, I actually like Red Eyes. Probably my favorite old school monster card.
Absolutely.
If you want to run it, go ahead. But again, we're just not doing it because technically he did lose to Seeker. He didn't really use it during the tournament.
Right. But obviously in other future Joey decks that might be included. Once again, this is Nick
and Phil.
We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Peace.